All righty, now one man who'll also be part of that show, well, we hope he will be, because he might be tied up on grand final eve, joins us now in Doggies captain Marcus Bontempelli. Good morning.
Gents, thanks for having me on. Always good to talk about my room, so looking forward to it.
OK, well, let's talk about my room before we talk about the football, because this is something pretty close to your heart.
Yeah, it is. I've been a part of the My Room charity for a few years, and it really probably started as in my first, or I think it was my second year maybe, or I think it was Will Minson at the time asked me to come along to one of the telethons, and just a small way to help contribute to what's, obviously an important charity, but especially for young kids who have to go through the ordeal of cancer and then trying to help their families, but also continue the research to help find a 100% cure rate. And it's been something I've loved being a part of, just to try and, put some energy and some time and support around.
And this year, obviously, it's going to be a little different, as we made mention. What we saw this time last year is vastly different to what we're going to see this year because of COVID restrictions.
It is, and then the My Room charity rely very heavily on, donations, and then the telethon being announced for a couple of weeks' time is a massive win, and it's going to be so important for being able to continue the research and the support and then the trials around cancer to find that cure rate. So it's so important. I'm really, proud to be a part of the My Room charity to help, find that 100% cure rate.
Yeah, it's a magnificent charity, Marcus. Great you're part of it, such a big part of it. Talking of your season, Marcus, All-Australian yet again. You've set such a high standard from your first game you ever played. And this year, how's your role been compared to other years in terms of that midfield and forward time that you play?
Yeah, thanks, Lloydie. It's been, it's been a different year, obviously, when you consider all the changes and the challenges to the season. Obviously, moving into state and then hubbing for the past sort of 10, 12 weeks has been different. But in terms of my role, it's probably been a bit steadier from a midfield perspective, but obviously had different patches and periods of time as a forward to help, obviously change things up, to continue to support our forward line and the evolution of our team. But the fact we've added, Joshy Bruce and Aaron Norton's become a key pillar for us down there, and obviously Mitchy Wallace, who's had an outstanding season, probably meant that I haven't had to spend, big chunks of time, just sort of spits and spurts. And it's just part of the evolution of our team from a football perspective. But, yeah, it's been a consistent season, which I'm proud of.
Bont, yes, congratulations to the All-Australian. Bailey Smith coming into that midfield has allowed you to go outside a little bit more, not play as much time on the ball. He is a wonderful running player.
He's had a great, really, 2 years on the track now, and sometimes it's hard to fathom that it's only his second season, and he's playing the type and the style of football that he is. And he's the thing about Bailey, he's an ultimate professional. He hasn't missed a beat really since he started, which is super impressive to see from a young player. And like you said, it's added another layer to the midfield.
Hey, well done, Bont. Hey, nice momentum too. The Doggies have won 5 of their last 6. But I don't think, I'm just doing some homework, Bont, I don't think you've played at the Gabba once this year, and you obviously got the big game there on Saturday.
We have. We played Brisbane at the Gabba earlier this year. Sorry, Bill, burn your mail. You might have to next time. But it does present as a challenge, because it's, the centre bounce game is important, particularly because the ground's a bit shorter than probably others. So that's probably going to be a pretty critical factor to the game. So we'll adjust accordingly to sort of what we need to, and obviously St Kilda and their strengths, but looking forward to playing there.
Now, Bont, Damo has had his hand up for the last 5 minutes. I assume he wants to ask a question as opposed to going to the toilet. But can I just ask you, have you seen him at all? Because he is in the same hub as you guys, and we know that, Bevo isn't exactly Damo's biggest fan. I mean, have you seen Damo around the place, or does he just sort of scamper and hide when you guys make your presence felt?
Yeah, I think in the distance, we haven't probably crossed paths just yet, but I have seen him in the distance, either going for a walk or heading out, or whatever he might be getting up to. But yeah, we haven't crossed paths just yet.
Hey, Marcus, just back to the footy. You mentioned Mitch Wallace, how he's helped you this year in terms of the role. Came out of round 18 with an injury concern on his shoulder, as did Aaron Norton with a depressed fracture of a cheekbone. As you talked today, the Sunday before the first final, do you expect them both to play?
Yeah, I do. Both of them are back training. Mitch trained the other day, and obviously trying to look after him from a contact perspective because he's obviously had a bit of a shoulder coming out of that game. But at this stage, they're both looking really likely, which is great from a planning perspective. That a week out, we're pretty certain that they'll both get up.
Bont, you can't do an interview without being asked about 2019 elimination finals loss last year. Personally, what did you learn from that loss?
Well, I think you've got to expect a physical game. Clearly, I think we've evolved as a team. Our list has matured a little bit. We've added some different players and just as a whole probably been able to grow that part of our game. We're pretty conscious of making sure it doesn't become a distraction for us. We've got to continue to play to our strengths and recognise the parts of the game that we do really well, but also understand that it's, especially finals football, a physical game. So we've got to bring a really strong level of that style, but also still balance it out with the parts of the game that are really important for us.
Bont, we really appreciate your time this morning. You've got a huge week ahead of you and hopefully, from a Bulldog supporter's point of view, the week after that as well. So good luck and great to see you in the finals.
Thank you, gents.
Thank you, Marcus Bontempelli, the Bulldogs captain, joining us there. And